Hello, my Nintendo Bracer. This is my friend today Nintendo fan. First, I want to start by saying thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. And this is a pretty big milestone. Of course, I know it's not as big as, 1,000 million and so, but on the 500 is still a lot. So thank you guys for liking, subscribing, watching my videos, or live stream, or sharing, or just supporting me, whether it's big or small. I really appreciate it. And as a way to celebrate, I made this pretty long video. So this is how it's going to work. So basically, there's going to be like 3 separate things. It's going to be like, okay, here's one way we're celebrating, another way we're celebrating. At the end, well, let's just say the end kind of involves this mural. But we'll get to that. So here's the video of what I'm going to celebrate. I hope you guys enjoy. And thank you again for 500 subscribers.
Can you reach it? I have to try.
That's right. The 5 big reveals are for Have a Nice Death, Astral Knight, Kirby Air Riders, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. Hope you guys look forward to seeing these reveals in the future. Do you like video games, comics, anime, movies and shows, music, and nerd stuff in general? Well, good news for you. Soon I'm starting my own podcast. That's right. A solo podcast, talking about nerd stuff in general. I'll let you guys know at a later date when the podcast will be available to listen.
That's right. You guys get 5 big reveals. And when it comes to the reviews, I want to choose games that are, either, indie games and AAA games, and games that you guys have heard of or have not heard of. Honestly, these games are amazing, and honestly, I can't wait to review all of them. It will take some time because, 5 reviews, gotta, write the script, then, gotta capture footage, all that stuff. So stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoy the reviews in the future. And also a solo podcast. I want to start a podcast for a while now, and I think this is the perfect time to start one. Of course, it will be solo, and I can't wait to talk about nerd stuff in general because I guess the podcast will be fun. Now, when it comes to this, so as I said before, when it comes to the mural, for last. So this last thing, it's kind of sad, but basically, this is a new mural. That's right, I made the new mural as a way to celebrate 500 subscribers. Now, when it comes to the old one, I had this for many years. I think I had this for, I can't really remember, but maybe like over 5 years. And you guys been part of my channel. You guys know it's been here since beginning. Whether it's, unboxing stuff, so you guys might collect it or make other videos. And I guess you can say it's been iconic when it comes to my channel. But I guess as a way to celebrate 500 subscribers and that new chapter, I created a new mural. And honestly, I haven't seen the other one go, but I guess this is a way of me saying thank you. And this is kind of the start of a new beginning for my channel. Now, the way this is going to work is I created a trailer for you guys to see the characters who will be on the new mural. Unfortunately, not every character will be returning, only because, there's so many characters, not all they could fit. So there's going to be new characters and old characters on the new mural, but again, not every character will be returning. Sucks, but gotta make room for the mural. So yeah, basically what's gonna happen, I'm going to show you guys the character, and then after that, I'm going to tell you guys why the characters are the mural. And the reasons are because, this reason, and some of them are just, this reason. But I talked for long enough, but I hope you guys enjoyed this trailer for the new characters that'll be on the mural. And once that's done, this will be the new mural. So hope you guys enjoy.
The first character is Mario from the Super Mario franchise. When it came to choosing the design, it was pretty tough because there are so many games to choose from. But I went with the Super Mario Odyssey design to represent the Nintendo Switch era. The next character is Bowser from the Super Mario franchise. As you know, Bowser is one of the most iconic video game villains of all time, and on this mural, he has a more ferocious look. The next character is Bowser Jr. from the Super Mario franchise. Just like his old man, he's back on the poster, ready for battle in an adorable way. Next character is Waluigi from the Super Mario franchise. He first appeared in Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64. Ever since then, he's one of the most iconic Mario characters of all time. I know how to put him on the mural. Character is Fly Guy from Mario Power Tennis. Fly Guy has first appeared in the Yoshi game, Yoshi's Island, for Super Nintendo, but this specific version is from Mario Power Tennis on the Nintendo GameCube. The next character is Luigi from the Luigi's Mansion franchise. As you know, Luigi has his own games, called Luigi's Mansion, first one being on GameCube, the latest being on the Nintendo Switch. In regard to the design I chose the one from the latest game, Luigi's Mansion 3, with him looking spooked. The next character is Wario from the WarioWare franchise. When it comes to design, he has two main ones, his classic design from the Mario series and his biker outfit. I went with his biker outfit to represent the WarioWare games. The next characters are Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong from the Donkey Kong franchise. Which comes to dynamic duos, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are some of the most iconic. When it comes to design, I want to choose design where both of them were in the same picture, so I chose the design from Donkey Kong Country Returns from the Wii. The next character is Yoshi from the Yoshi franchise. Yoshi's art style has always been adorable and unique, but what would the design for Yoshi's Crafted World? And add in Poochie, his pal that's been there since the beginning of the franchise. Character is Princess Peach from Super Mario franchise. Peach actually has two games she's featured in, Super Princess Peach and Princess Peach Showtime. I want the design from Princess Peach Showtime to represent her new game. The next character is Captain Toad from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Captain Toad is a character that's been around for a while, and the first game was on the Nintendo Wii U called Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. The next character is Link from the Legend of Zelda franchise. Just like Mario, Link has been around for many years and is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. When it comes to the design, I decided to go with the design from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I also gave him his glider. Next character is Zelda from the Legend of Zelda franchise. Zelda is one of the most iconic characters from the franchise, with many different designs, but I went with the design from the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword from the Wii. The next character is Ganondorf from the Legend of Zelda franchise. Ganondorf, aka the King of Evil, one of the most iconic video game villains of all time. What kind of the design? A chosen design from the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Next character is Toon Link from the Legend of Zelda franchise. Toon Link is another version of Link, and whether he's in 3D or 2D, the design is pretty much the same. Also, I was going to have him in his iconic pose from the game, but unfortunately, there was no more room on the ground, so now he's in the air doing an awesome air attack. The next character is Pikachu from the Pokemon franchise. Pokemon is one of the most iconic video game franchises of all time, and Pikachu, the mascot, is one of the most beloved video game characters in Pokemon of all time. This character is Lucario from the Pokemon franchise. When it comes to Lucario, he's one of the most iconic Pokemon of all time. And when it comes to the pose, I decided to do a reference to the cover of the movie, Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. The next character is Jigglypuff from the Pokemon franchise. Jigglypuff is very adorable and pretty iconic Pokemon when it comes to the Pokemon franchise. Also a Pokemon that many people love, so I knew how to add this adorable Pokemon to the poster. The next characters are Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. As you know, there are over 1,000 Pokemon, but none are more iconic than the Big Three, aka these three from Gen 1. These are beloved Pokemon that a lot of people know and love, and there's two reasons why I chose these three. Number one, to represent their first appearance when it comes to Brawl, and number two, to represent the evolution line when it comes to Basic, Stage 1, and Stage 2 when it comes to evolutions. Next character is Mewtwo from the Pokemon franchise. Mewtwo is one of the most iconic and most powerful Pokemon in the franchise. I knew I had to add this iconic Pokemon to the mural. Next character is Kirby from the Kirby franchise. As you know, Kirby is not only one of the most iconic Nintendo characters, but also one of the most iconic video game and cutest video game characters of all time. I'm currently designing. I decided to stick with the basic, classic design of Kirby. The next character is Meta Knight from the Kirby franchise. Meta Knight is a very iconic character from the franchise. I want a reference to the cover of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe for Switch. The next character is King Dedede from the Kirby franchise. King Dedede is the main antagonist of the franchise and has been ever since the beginning. When it comes to the design, I decided to go with his all puffed up and floating in the air. The next character is Badana Waddle Dee from the Kirby franchise. Badana Waddle Dee is a character that first appeared in Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo. Ever since then, he's been a fan favorite and part of the Kirby crew. The next character is Tom Nook from Animal Crossing franchise. Tom Nook is one of the most recognizable characters from the franchise because he's been there since the beginning and has had many different outfits. When we come to the design, I went with the classic design from the first Animal Crossing game. The next character is Villager from Animal Crossing franchise. Villager is the character that you play as when you first play Animal Crossing games. But when it comes to this design, the design is basically from Animal Crossing City Folk. The next character is Isabelle from the Animal Crossing franchise. Isabelle is a beloved character from the franchise. When it comes to the design, I chose the design from her first introduction, which was Animal Crossing New Leaf for the 3DS. The next character is Fox from the Star Fox franchise. Fox is the leader of the Star Fox crew, and we cut to the design. I chose the design from the latest game, Star Fox Zero, and the pose is a reference from when Nintendo and Ubisoft had a collab for Starlink Battle for Atlas. The next character is Falco from the Star Fox franchise. Falco is one of the more popular characters when it comes to the series. And when it comes to the design, I went with the design from Star Fox Zero. And when it comes to the pose, it's reference to him on the mural from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The next character is Samus from the Metroid franchise. Samus is one of the most iconic Nintendo and female video game characters of all time, and she has many different suits throughout the years, but we'll come to the design. I want her design from Super Metroid from the Super Nintendo. The next characters are the Ice Climbers from Ice Climber. Nana and Popo are from the game Ice Climber from the NES. It will come to their pose and design as a reference to the Up Special in the Smash Bros. Franchise. The next characters are Duck Hunt from Duck Hunt. The Duck Hunt duo are from the NES, and when it comes to their design, I went with the look from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The next character is Rob from the Rob games. Rob the Robot is actually a toy accessory for the NES for the games Gyromite and Stack Up. It will contain the design as a reference to him on the mural for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The next character is Mr. Game & Watch from the Game & Watch franchise. Game & Watch is a little handheld created by Nintendo years ago. If we come to the design, it's a reference to one of these games called Parachute, and it's up special in the Smash Bros. Franchise. The next character is Captain Falcon from the F-Zero franchise. Captain Falcon is an iconic Nintendo character. We come to Nintendo racing games, and we come to the design. I chose the design specifically from one of the most popular F-Zero games, F-Zero GX for the GameCube. The next character is Olimar from the Pikmin franchise. Pikmin is one of Nintendo's most popular franchises, and Olimar one of their most popular characters. When it comes to the design, I want the design of Olimar being picked up by the flying Pikmin and carrying the yellow, red, and blue Pikmin, a reference to the first game and Pikmin 3. The next character is Marth from the Fire Emblem franchise. Fire Emblem is a popular Nintendo franchise when it comes to role-playing games, but besides characters like Marth or Ike, unfortunately, other characters are not well known. I would think of adding other characters, but fortunately ran out of room, so I decided to just keep Marth as representative for the Fire Emblem franchise. The next character is Ness from the Earthbound franchise. Earthbound is a beloved game from the Super Nintendo, and I chose this pose to represent one of his most iconic poses and one of his taunts from the Smash Bros. Franchise. Next character is Lucas from the Mother franchise. Lucas actually appears only in Mother 3. I want to add him to represent the Mother franchise, even though both Mother and Earthbound games are connected. The next character is Karate Joe from the Rhythm Heaven franchise. Karate Joe is probably the most recognizable character when it comes to the franchise, and he's back in the mural looking more detailed than ever. Character is Inkling Girl from the Splatoon franchise. On my first mural, I chose to go with the Inkling Squid design, but this time around, I decided to go with the humanoid version of Inkling Girl to better represent the Splatoon franchise. The next character is Starfy from the legendary Starfy franchise. The legendary Starfy is a game that first appeared at the Nintendo DS, and as a character, he's a character that's not very well known, but added him to the mural to represent his franchise. The next character is Dr. Mario from the Dr. Mario franchise. Dr. Mario is a popular puzzle game featuring Dr. Mario at the mural. He is here to give you your medicine. The next character is Chippy Robo from the Chippy Robo franchise. The game Chippy Robo first appeared on the Nintendo GameCube. Ever since then, he's been a fan-favorite character, and we come to the reference to his latest game, where he's getting ready for action. The next character is Pit from the Kid Icarus franchise. Pit is actually one of the oldest Nintendo characters and has been around since the NES. When it comes to the design, it's based on his latest game, Kid Icarus Uprising. The next character is Springman from ARMS. ARMS is a game that first released on the Nintendo Switch. Add him to the mural as another way to represent the Nintendo Switch era. The next character is Little Mac from the Punch-Out franchise. Punch-Out is a popular boxing game by Nintendo, and we come to the pose as a reference to his trailer when he joined Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U. The next character is Joker from Persona 5. Persona is a popular JRPG franchise, and Joker is the main character in the 5th game. When choosing the design, it was tough to choose between the school design or the Phantom design, but I chose to stick with the classic Phantom look. The next character is Ryu from the Street Fighter franchise. Ryu is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, not just for the console fighting games, but also arcade fighting games when it comes to the design. I chose to stick with the Street Fighter II look, but with more details. The next character is Mega Man from the Mega Man franchise. As you know, there are many other Mega Mans from different games, but I chose to stick with the original. And don't worry, he's not alone, because he has Rush, one of his robotic animal buddies from the games. Next character is Pac-Man from the Pac-Man franchise. When you think of old and iconic video game characters, Pac-Man is one of the characters you think about. And when it comes to design, I decided to stick with the design from his first 3D game, Pac-Man World, from the PlayStation 1. Let's be honest, the mural wouldn't be the same without him. The next characters are Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles from the Sonic franchise. As you know, the Sonic franchise is one of the most iconic video game franchises, with many iconic characters, but none are more iconic than these three. So we come to these three specifically. I chose to pose in reference to one of the most popular Sonic games, Sonic Heroes, specifically for the Dreamcast. The next character is the Cloud from Suika Games. We think about relaxing indie games. This is the game we think about. Moving fruit around to match fruit and to get a high score. Honestly, I knew I had to add this adorable Cloud holding a fruit onto the mural. And this character is Bob from Human Fall Flat. When think about funny, goofy, puzzle indie games, this is probably one of the first games you think about. And when it comes to the reference in the pose, it's a reference to the cover of the physical games. The next character is the Gang Beast Fighter from Gang Beast. In this indie game where you battle it out, fight in a goofy way. I know I had to add this indie game to the mirror, but not just that. When it comes to the pose, it's a reference to the physical game. The next character is Fall Guy from Fall Guys, one of the most popular indie games of all time, where you play as a bean, race through obstacle courses to get the crown. And let's be honest, I know how to add this character to the mural. The next characters are the crewmate and imposter from Among Us. Among Us is a game that absolutely took the world by storm, where you play as a crewmate or imposter. We counted the reference, specifically with the imposter. It's a reference to one of the trailers where they introduce new roles to the game. The next character is Henry from the Kingdom Come Deliverance franchise. These games are popular indie games where you play as Henry in open-world medieval times. When it comes to this character, it was tough to design him out of the mirror because he is more human than other characters, but I think it turned out great, and I made sure to give him his sword, which is important to the games. Next character is John Martin from the Red Dead Redemption franchise. Red Dead Redemption is one of the best and most iconic open-world games set in the Western times. And when it comes to John, he's very tough to design on mural because unlike other characters, he's also very detailed and human-like. But I think he turned out great on the mural. The next character is Astrobot from Astrobot. The game Astrobot is a 3D platformer where you play as the Astrobot, made by Sony, and not just one of the best 3D platformers on the PlayStation 5, but also won the Game of the Year. Now that deserves to be on the mural. The next characters are Cuphead and Mugman from Cuphead. The game Cuphead is a run-and-gun game with a classic cartoon art style and one of the hardest games in history, but still fun. It will call to the reference. The post is a reference to the first physical release of the cover. And this character is Crash Bandicoot from the Crash Bandicoot franchise. When it comes to the PlayStation era, especially PlayStation 1, the first character to think of is Crash Bandicoot. As you know, he has many games and many different looks throughout the years, but I want to stick with the original design as a reference to the original PlayStation 1 game, but also with an updated look. The next character is the Ugly Prince from Ugly. The game Ugly is an indie game where you play as the Ugly Prince and use a glass piece to traverse throughout the levels. And even though this game is called Ugly, this is a beautiful game where I knew I had to add this character to the mural. The next character is Steve from the Minecraft franchise. Minecraft is the best-selling video game franchise of all time, and video game character everybody knows. And when it comes to the pose, it's a reference to the cover of the physical copy on the Xbox 360. And when it comes to the pickaxe, I have to move it to the other side so you guys can see it more clearly on the mural. The next character is the Hollow Knight from the Hollow Knight franchise. The indie game Hollow Knight is another indie game that took the world by storm with its beautiful art style, amazing music, extremely difficult, but also amazing. I knew I had to add this iconic indie game video game character on the mural. The next character is Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. When you think of iconic video game characters when it comes to RPGs, the first one you think of is Cloud Strife and the game Final Fantasy VII. And when it comes to this iconic character, I was debating on the classic look or the modern look, but decided to go with the classic look for retro fans. Also had a pretty difficult time trying to decide if his outfit was more purplish or blackish or grayish, but I decided to go with the purple look to also represent the retro style. The next character is Sora from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Sora is a popular video game character from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. It comes to the design. I decided to stick with the Kingdom Hearts 1 look for 2 reasons. Number 1, to represent the PlayStation 2 era, and number 2, because Kingdom Hearts is a beloved game, not just by video game fans, but also by Disney fans. The next characters are the Tetris blocks from the Tetris franchise. We want to talk about iconic video games of all time. Tetris is part of the top 10, and this is a video game that everybody has played, whether you're young or old, and one of the most popular video games on the Game Boy, so I knew I had to add this iconic game on the mural. The next character is Doom Guy from the Doom franchise. If you want video games with rip and tear, have awesome metal soundtracks, and fight demons, the Doom games are perfect for you. A video game character that's been around for years, with many suits, I decided to go with the suit from Doom Eternal, aka one of the best Doom games of all time. The next character is Sans from Undertale. Undertale has become one of the most beloved and most popular indie games of all time, and Sans has become one of the most popular video game characters of all time. And when it comes to the design, I will switch you between the pixel look or the more 3D look, but I decided to go with the 3D look so I can add his colors, which come to his jacket and his slippers. The next character is Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney franchise. The first Ace Attorney game was under Nintendo DS. Ever since then, has been one of Capcom's most popular franchises, and Phoenix Wright became one of the most iconic and most popular video game characters. And when it comes to the design, I always gotta have him pointing with his iconic Take That. But, unfortunately, I didn't want him blocking the other characters, so I had him pointing in the front view. The next character is Gumchi from Ninjala. The game Ninjala is a battle royale where you play as kids and battle it out using bubblegum. Now when it comes to the characters, I was thinking about using one of the kids, but I decided to go with the mascot to better represent the game. The next character is Rathalos from the Monster Hunter franchise. As you know, there are many iconic monsters and hunters with different weapons and armor, but I decided to go with Rathalos because he is the mascot of the franchise. And of course he has many different looks, but I decided to go with this looks because I think this is the most iconic design for him. Next character is Jibanyan from the Yokai Watch franchise. Yokai Watch is well known in America, but in countries like Japan, it's very popular and famous. So I knew I had to add this popular character when it comes to Japan on the mural. The next character is Bomberman from the Bomberman franchise. Bomberman is a pretty popular video game character, and when it comes to his design, I decided to go with the design from the recent games, Super Bomberman R. And this time around, I made sure to give him one of his bombs, so he's ready for action. The next character is 2B from Nier Automata. Nier Automata is one of the greatest games of all time. Not only has one of the best soundtracks, some of the best graphics, some of the best characters, some of the best hack and slash gameplay, but it has one of the best stories in video game history. After playing it, I know I had to add 2B to the mirror. The next character is Master Chief from the Halo franchise. If you want to talk about iconic video game characters, especially from the Xbox, you think about Master Chief. When it comes to Master Chief, he's been around a long time, with many games and many armor sets. But I chose the one from Halo 2, only because when you talk to Halo fans, almost all of them say Halo 2 is the greatest Halo game of all time. The final character is Kratos from the God of War franchise. When you talk about iconic video game characters, especially when it comes to PlayStation, Kratos is one of them. Now, I was debating on the younger or older version of Kratos, but decided to go with the younger version to represent the retro PlayStation fans and also the retro PlayStation days.
That's right, here it is, and honestly, it's a bit longer than I expected it, but it does fit on my wall, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't, honestly, when I first planned to do this, I was thinking, it's not gonna come out good, it'll be okay, but I'm looking at it right now, and, I don't want to boast or nothing, but I think I did a pretty good job, and, I just can't imagine that I did all this. And honestly, I really had fun doing it because you guys know I'm passionate about video games and I want to add a lot of video game characters as possible because, there's two reasons I also did this. Number one, I know a lot of you are, of course, Nintendo fans, but I also know a lot of you are PlayStation fans, Xbox fans, Capcom, Konami, Sega, so on and so on. So I wanted to add a lot of third-party characters too. I also know that a lot of you guys are also fans of indie games, so I wanted to add a lot of, indie game characters too. And the reason I did it because I also did this for, video game companies in general, and the reason I say that because, as you guys know, when it comes to, back then where, it had Atari, arcade, NES, and, so on and so on, it turned from that to what we have today, the Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and of course, PC. The video game industry and video games in general has evolved so much from when we were little kids to adulthood. And honestly, I also made this as a way to, for you guys to, I don't know if this makes sense, but, when you guys look at this, you'll be like, oh, I know that character, or I played that game, or I recognize that character from this series. And, again, there's a lot of third-party characters and a lot of first-party characters. And, of course, you guys know I lied when I said no characters will be coming back. Honestly, that was going to be the case, but I was like, Patrick, hold on. What if you pulled a Sakurai? What I mean by that, because you guys know the Smash Bros. Series. Basically, when it comes to the Smash Bros. Series, some characters return or didn't for a certain reason. But, Ultimate, every character returned. So I was like, okay, Frederick, would it be funny and kind of cool if you pulled the Sakurai and be like, guys, not every character is returning. But you'd be like, okay, Frederick, you're returning every character. Now, we came to create the mirror. I was like, that sounds like a great idea. But also at the same time, I was like, oh my god, after that made bring all those characters back, adding new characters, again, I thought it was gonna be impossible. But honestly, it was worth it because again, I had fun. But it's also a passion project, so I put my blood, sweat, and tears into making this mural. I know there's a lot of characters. It took a lot. This took 3 months. It took 1 month to like, to place the characters where they're gonna be. It took another month to like, do the inking, we cut the outline. And it took a 3rd month to like, color everything. And I think this just turned out amazing. And I am proud of myself because, I mean, in my lifetime, I've done some drawings and that kind of stuff, but I never made something like this. So I hope in the future, when you guys watch my videos, I hope you guys enjoy seeing the mural in the background. You probably can't see every character because, it's pretty long, but I hope we guys watch my videos in the future. Hope you guys enjoy seeing the characters up here. And I hope it brings back good memories. And when it comes to the old one, honestly, I'm going to miss this old one because in memories, been here since the beginning of the channel, but I mean, not everything lasts forever, unfortunately. So I'm going to put this with my other pieces as a memory to, when it comes to my art project, but also for the channel. But yeah, I'm going to miss this. And yeah, here's the new mural. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, watching, sharing, and all that other stuff. Thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I really, really appreciate it. Again, I know it's not as big as, 1,000 million and so, but 500 is still a lot, so I really appreciate you guys for all the support, and I can't wait for the future. Now, when it comes to the month of March, I am going to be taking kind of a hiatus or a break. I might post something on YouTube or Twitter, but not a lot though, because I'm going to take a month off for reasons. But yeah, I hope you guys look forward to new videos in the channel, and hope you guys enjoy this new mural. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this celebration video, and thank you guys so much for 5 subscribers. And again, if you guys did enjoy this video, please give a like, subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo content, and please follow Twitter at Pixel Yoshi 7. Remember that Autistic Nintendo community, more community, Autistic Nintendo family. I'm Freddy Autistic Nintendo fan. I'll see you guys later. Once again, guys, thank you so much for 500 subscribers.